Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Tan and J-Man Show. Before we go any further, please give us a rating on Apple Podcasts. If you want to stay up to date with all that's happening in Tan and J-Man Show Nation, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Tan and J-Man Show. Hope you guys enjoy this episode, so stay tuned. You are listening to the Tan and J-Man Show. We are having some internet issues, so we will not
Imagine
be on,
that. It's always something.
We will not be on ISC Sports Network this week.
We were for about 2 minutes.
Yeah, for a couple minutes. I think you got the Birdie Bogey out there first. But we are starting this thing over. This episode is brought to you by The Damn Landing. Whether you want an epic burger, hand-tossed pizza, hand-breaded tenderloin, seafood, craft beer, or a handcrafted cocktail, The Damn Landing is the place to be. The Damn Landing is a bar and grill located on beautiful Lake Manitou that focuses on freshness and quality. The Damn Smoke is here every single weekend. It will feature barbecue and steaks. In addition, you can wash it down with one of their 16 beers on tap, including a constant rotation of today's best micro brews and domestic flavors, or a handcrafted cocktail made using fresh ingredients. Take in the fantastic views of Lake Manitou on their beer garden or outdoor bar area. Whether it be boat or wheels, the Damn Landing is the place to be, located at 1305 Ewing Road in Rochester.
You ready for the Birdie Bogey
question
again?
Hear it.
It's my second read, but
I think I remember what it was.
For our listeners, it's the first time they've listened to it, unless they caught the Tan and J-Man Show on the ISC Sports Network for about 2 minutes while it was on.
The three people that were watching.
Yes. Let's be real with ourselves. The Denver Nuggets earlier today beat the Utah Jazz by a score of 135 to 125 in overtime. Donovan Mitchell of the Utah Jazz finished with 57 points in the loss. Is the third most points in a playoff game in NBA history, trailing what two other guys?
Can you repeat it? Because I think I heard you wrong the first time. It's the third most points ever.
There's
okay,
two more guys.
I was thinking it was the third most points in a loss ever.
There's two more guys who have scored more points in an NBA playoff game. Who are they?
Okay, I think I have two guesses that are probably pretty good, but we'll see here. Birdie Bogey is brought to you by Noble Gnome LLC, fresh, locally grown, nutrient-dense produce from Bryce and Katie Romine of Mentone, Indiana. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, and check out their website, noblegnomellc.com. I'm currently on their Facebook page to see what they've been doing, and they have not had a post on here since August 7th. I think they were taking a week off of corn
I do know
selling.
That. Yes.
But that won't stop you from...
Well, Bryce was away on a fishing trip this past week, a family kind of fishing trip, so that's probably why they haven't posted anything.
I don't know why I was pointing at the camera.
I don't either. Just letting you do. J-Man, you're on your own little world.
Get your veggies.
I wish everybody could have seen that little action you just did there. But
are you ready for some education?
Yes.
In 1920, New York Yankees canceled game with the Cleveland Indians in memory of Ray Chapman, who died on the same day. He got hit in the schnoz and passed away before helmets.
Well, that is just terrible.
1933, Major League Baseball player Lou Gehrig plays his then record 1,308th consecutive game. That was since passed by old Cal Ripken Jr. 1957, this is kind of a funny and not great one all at the same time.
Funny what?
It's a funny kind of bad one at the same time.
Okay.
It made me laugh when I read it, though, because that's just how my mind works.
Yeah, you got a sick sense of humor.
1957, baseball player Richie Ashburn fouls and hits Alice Roth twice in the same game at bat playing for the Philadelphia Phillies. First hit breaks her nose. Second one hits her while she's on the stretcher. That's pretty funny.
I feel awful for laughing, but I can't help it.
It's classic. 1966, Willie Mays takes second place on all-time home run list. He is currently fifth, and I assume he will end up fifth.
Barry Bonds' godfather.
Who won the 1969 PGA Championship?
Let's go with Jack Nicklaus.
Ray Floyd.
Darn.
Wins first of his 4 major titles by
Raymond,
one stroke from South
player.
African Gary Player.
Both great players. No pun intended.
On this date in 1969, the New York Jets beat the New York Giants 37-14 in their first ever meeting. It was a preseason game, though.
Jets, Jets.
As I said, Willie Mays became second all-time in baseball in home runs on this day in 1966. Well, 7 years later, he hit his 660th and last career homer. Off of?
I have no idea.
Don Gullett of Cincinnati.
Never heard of him.
On this day in 1980, George Brett goes 4 for 4, raising his batting average to .401.
Greatest Royal of all time.
On August 18th, he was hitting .401. Pretty impressive. 1984, Pete Rose returns to Cincinnati Reds as player manager. He got 2 hits.
Player manager. I did not know he was playing while he was managing.
Yeah, he was a player manager.
I did not know that.
I did not know that.
I knew he was a manager, but
1987, Muhammad Ali elected to Ring Magazine's Boxing Hall of Fame. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Yeah, he wasn't bad.
On this day in 1989, Orioles shortstop Cal Ripken moves into third place for consecutive games. At that point, he was at 1,208. 1990, Carlton Fisk hits White Sox record 187th career homer. That's not very many.
Who is Paul Konerko there all time?
I assume he would be.
Is he over 400?
Yes, he's at. I would say 430. I'm gonna guess 436.
I will go with 418.
All right, here we go. The moment of truth. What'd I say? 434.
You said 436, and I said 418.
439.
Uh,
Damn it!
You get a congratulations.
Who won the 1997 PGA Championship?
97?
Yes.
Davis Love III.
Davis Love III. He won by 5 strokes over Justin Leonard.
His only major championship victory.
Who won in 2003?
03. Trying to think here. Was 03 Sean McKeel?
Sean McKeel it was. Beat Chad Campbell. Never heard of either of them.
McKeel is an IU grad.
Oh,
Sean McKeel.
Interesting.
I believe. I'm pretty sure about that.
China wins its 33rd gold medal of the Beijing Olympics in 2008 by beating Singapore in table tennis women's team event. Most successful Olympiad ever for China. It doesn't have a name, but won all 10 singles and all 5 doubles matches.
I'm
Maybe
going
it's
out
just
on
the
a
team.
limb and
Yeah,
saying it would be you would have a tough time saying that name correctly.
Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't on there.
Just going out on a limb. I could be wrong. It could be a really common name.
Team event. It was a team event.
Oh.
So the team.
So you'd have to say multiple people.
Yes, and that would not go well.
It'd be fun to watch.
2008 U.S. team, Michael Phelps, Aaron Pearsall, Brendan Hansen, Jason Lezak wins the 4x100 meter medley relay, the Beijing Olympics in world record time. It was Phelps' 8th gold medal of that game, which broke Mark Spitz's 1972
Another Indiana grad
record. Man, they're just dominating.
Yeah, this is disgusting.
Let's see. A lot of Olympics.
Oh, it is August.
Usain Bolt won the 200 meter in 2013 at the Athletics World Championships.
He's the second fastest man in the world behind Josh Monk.
I am pretty speedy. I think that's it, bro. That's all we got.
That's all you got?
Well, our internet's back.
Is it? Well,
at this point, whatever.
Yes. Well, if you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting, Proforma Print House has over 50 years combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs. You need to look no further. Let them be your one-source print and promotional company. Give them a call today at 574-210-3815. So if you want sanitation products such as hand sanitizers, I think they could probably even get you some masks, all kinds of things. If you want other things such as water balls, nice water ball with your company or organization logo on, they can do that. They can do, like I said, pretty much anything that you want for your next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting. So give them a call today, 574-210-3815, located in northern Indiana.
Yes, sir. What you want to start with tonight there, T-Dog?
Well, we are a podcast that covers a wide variety of sports. One of our main three topics is the Big Ten Conference.
Mm-hmm.
Last Monday, we had a good idea where the Big Ten was headed, but no final decisions had been made. About 24 hours after that, probably a little less than 24 hours, last Tuesday, the Big Ten decided they were going to postpone all their fall sports at least until the spring.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had this kind of old news for big-time sports fans, but we haven't got a chance to talk about it since it became official.
I think most other conferences will follow suit, too.
Well, the Pac-12 did, like
Yes.
3 hours later. They were just waiting. They didn't want to be the first, but the Pac-12 is not really getting any backlash.
Now,
what I've seen, but we also live in the Midwest.
People love to crap on the Big Ten.
Well, the Big Ten is the most powerful college conference.
That just doesn't win many championships.
It's the most powerful college conference. It is overall. Because football-wise, sure, the SEC, but overall, for all the sports combined, it's the Big Ten.
I would agree.
And it's probably the most old-fashioned because it's got a lot of the same teams in it that it originally had when it began. And
Yeah, all original teams. I mean, you think of the
they're pretty
Iowas
much all good academic schools besides Nebraska.
and Buckers.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Rutgers. Yeah.
People just love to crap on the Big
Yeah.
Ten. It gets annoying after a while.
It does.
There is such an East and West Coast bias. People always say there's not an East West Coast bias. There's a clear East and West Coast bias, and they love to shit on the
Can you do
Midwest.
that- can you do that impression again.
That's how they sound. That's how every single one of them sounds. And they just love to crap on the Midwest. I compared the Pac-12 to France in World War II. They just give up so easy.
They were just waiting. They were just waiting. They had everything written up. They just didn't want to be the first. So they're already thinking, okay, when one conference goes, we're going to be right after them.
We're going to kind of sneak in behind them, hope no one sees us.
Yep.
And then we're going to cancel. And, of course, the SEC, I mean, you look down there and they don't think this virus even exists anyways. I mean,
Have you seen the images on the
pictures?
internet?
It's insane. They aren't taking it seriously, and they think they can have football, and it's just not going to happen.
No.
I just don't see any conceivable way.
I mean, my thing with the Big Ten was why the rush, I guess, is my big thing. Why not delay it for a couple weeks?
Yeah.
I mean, like I agree with you. I don't think college football is going to happen. If it does, will just be a few weeks, and then they're going to have to shut it all down anyways. But why not just wait and see what the conditions are in a few weeks? Why come out with the schedule the previous week on that Wednesday, have everything lined up, and you're trying to start on September 5th, and then you just cancel everything literally 5 days later, 6 days later?
I will say they were probably weary of having the guys go to class, and during this extra time, having guys get it, and then it spread throughout the whole team because it spreads quick. I mean, we've seen it in baseball. Look what happened to the Marlins and the Cardinals. So I just think they were weary about that happening if they went another 2 weeks with practice, So I think they just wanted to shut it down right away, and, it sucked, and we were all pissed off at the time. But looking back, it was probably the right idea. I don't think Kevin Warren really went about it the right way. Not a big fan of him.
And one thing I'm disappointed in Big Ten, they're not answering any questions. They still haven't really come out and said why. They've never really said the why answer. They're not answering anybody's questions. I feel like if they would just handle it a little better from a PR standpoint, that might take a little heat off them. But
I didn't listen to Warren's press conference afterwards. I heard it was an embarrassment, though, just the way he was deflecting questions and all that.
Even the Nebraska question, because at the time Nebraska was looking to jump ship.
And, of course, the Big Ten said, nah, not doing it. It will be interesting to see if Nebraska just decides to do it anyways.
Well,
what would happen?
Nebraska was wanting to play. I think it was North Dakota State or something. But yeah, if you go play that game, you're kissing the Big Ten Network money bye.
Yeah,
you're losing the $50 million or whatever it is.
And
so
who knows if Kevin Warren would have the stones to say, no, we're not going to have you back in here. You're done. See ya.
Yep.
So it's just an interesting time in our nation's history.
Supposedly, any day now, this was reported today that the Big Ten is going to announce their spring plans as of right now for football. So, interested to see what those look like.
Yeah.
Interested to see if they're close to or pretty similar to Jeff Brom's plan that he kind of released last week. It is kind of sad that these coaches have to be so proactive and try to get ahead of this because the leadership's just not really doing it.
Well, I mean, they're not. The Big Ten's not going to come out and speculate on what they're going to do. They're going to have something set in stone and then announce it. The coach sure can do that and all that, but the Big Ten's just not going to come out and say, this is what we're planning to do and all that. They want to be spot on, have a clear...
something they didn't have the previous 5 months before.
Yeah, they could have been working on that for 5 months, but I don't know how spring football is going to work. You put a poll out there yesterday or 2 days ago.
Yesterday. Well, let's see if I got enough connection to bring this up. Because I'm glad you brought that up because I actually wanted to go over the results.
The poll was, might as well just have you bring it up and then see.
The poll still got a day left, so you can go vote on Twitter at Tan and J-Man Show. Would you watch college football in the spring? 44 votes so far, with 98% saying yes. I think you were probably the one that said no.
on Twitter, I did say no.
Embarrassing. Chris Giannini, that we've had on the show before from the Winning Cures Everything podcast, he said, would I watch it? Yes. Would I love the bastardized version I'd be getting? No, but I'll take any football I can get at any time.
The watered-down football, college football, just would not appeal to me in the spring. I want to be focused on college basketball and spring training, baseball, and into baseball season.
Football's the most popular sport in America.
Oh, man. I get it.
So I think if you put it on, people will watch, and especially if somehow in the spring they could have a few fans in the stands. Don't know if that's going to be possible, but
yeah,
we can talk about fans here in a little bit. But also, while we're talking about the Big Ten, it's interesting. Penn State's AD came out today, said it's still unclear to him whether or not there was a vote. No one's ever told me there was. I just don't know whether there actually was a vote by the chancellors and presidents. Wow, if that's true.
Yeah.
If there was no vote, then somebody was lying about something the whole time, about the 12-2, then the 8-6.
Is that what it ended up being? Because Dan Patrick said 12-2.
And then later on it was 8-6. Which
Justin Fields has a petition out, which petitions don't change a damn thing.
I signed it.
They don't change anything.
I know.
And
the players can come out and say how much they want to play all the time. It's not going to change nothing. It's not going to change
anything because they couldn't care less about the players. And this shouldn't be about the players anyway. Let's be honest. It should be about the health and safety of people.
Which they're even getting players getting parents involved to sign. There's 4 different Big Ten universities. The parents have come out and said that they want their kids to play. That's still not going to change anything.
That's not going to change a thing. They asked Penn State's president today, or somebody did, do you think this outcry, the We Want to Play movement, the petition will change anything? He said, nah, not going to do a thing.
I'm just disappointed the Power Fives weren't in unison. It's pretty disappointing.
That's not a good look. But it is what it is. I mean, when has this country been in unison ever?
It's getting worse and worse all the time.
Yeah.
But NCAA basketball said they will have announcements ready mid-September as far as starting date or if they have to push things back or whatever. I don't know what's going to happen with basketball because then you're going to get into flu season, like normal flu season, and you're talking about something inside. From a number standpoint, I think it's way more doable to do than football, but I think you're going to have to do some sort of bubble climate, and unfortunately you can't do that for more than about a month because the expenses are just way too high.
Unless you bubble them on campus.
We could have done that for football.
There's 90 players, though.
Yeah.
There's 14 for basketball, 15 players for basketball.
But they won't do that just for basketball either. Because you got to do it for other winter sports, too.
You'd think.
You have to.
The NCAA and the Power 5 in each school has proven time and again that they don't care about the
NCAA has more control for basketball than does football.
Think so?
I heard that today on the radio when I was driving. They can do more about basketball than they can football. I don't know why. Basketball
would be easier to control.
I think if we get college basketball, it's going to be a shortened conference-only season starting in January through March. I don't think we'll see basketball before then. I could be wrong.
Well, the Pac-12 already said they're not playing
till January.
Till January, which that sucks for me because Illinois was going to play them.
And I think it's pretty telling that
November.
You haven't seen the Big Ten release. Well, the Big East also said they're not playing till January. They announced that last week. Because the GAVA games weren't ever released. The Big Ten ACC Challenge games haven't been released. When you're not releasing big games like that, I think it's pretty telling.
I mean, they usually have the Big Ten ACC Challenge and the GAVA games, as you said, already released by now.
June,
yeah.
I
think the Big Ten ACC Challenge is usually released in May, isn't it? So I just don't think we're going to see that happening. And as you said, I think a conference-only season is the most likely scenario.
Trust me, the NCAA does not want to go 2 years in a row without the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely not. I mean, that is, what was it? Over 80% of their annual revenue came from the TV money in the NCAA tournament. Their annual revenue was like $1.2 billion, and they got $800 million.
I mean, these schools are already hurting from football because football is their biggest moneymaker.
Yeah. And they're going to do everything in their power to have an NCAA tournament anyway.
Because, I mean, for instance, I know Purdue, they're estimating is going to lose $50 million from not just having football alone. And you got to think that's going to make people cut back on their salaries. That's going to make a lot of people jobless, unfortunately. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs. It's not good. And that's not counting schools, smaller schools. That's going to hurt even worse.
Yep.
But here's a few things. I kind of brought up Jeff Brom's plan here, the basic structure. The spring season would be 8-game season. Starts Saturday, February 27th and runs through Saturday, April 17th. Then you would have a fall season of 10 games instead of 12, starting Saturday, October 2nd, 2021, running through Saturday, December 11th, 2021. 2-week training camp would start on Saturday, January 16th and run through Friday, January 29th. 16 hours a week, 4 days a week, 8 hours strength and conditioning, 4-hour walkthrough, 4-hour meetings and film. Then Saturday, June 30th through Friday, February 26th, you'd have 4-week training camp, 2 days off per week, mandatory, maximum of 2 practices and full pads per week. Then Saturday, February 27th through Saturday, April 17th, you have 8-game season, no buys, 2-week prep before postseason begins. Then Saturday, May 1st through Saturday, May 15th, you would have a 6-team playoff, Power 5 conference champs plus wild card, or top 2 seeds have one bye round, or it says something about Big Ten championship, Rose Bowl, or a 4-team playoff. Then after the season ends, you'd have full discretionary period up to 3 months off, no mandatory workouts at this time. Then on July 19th through Friday, August 27th, it would be 6 weeks. You have 8 hours per week, summer period. Then you'd have an extra 1 week off between August 28th through September 3rd. And then your 4-week training camp would start on Saturday, September 4th. 2 days off per week, mandatory, maximum of 2 practices and full pads per week. Then your games start on October. And then the playoffs and 16 playoff format in January. What's interesting to me is the cut down of the padded practices.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. But you'd have to. If you're going to try to pull off a spring season and a fall season, you got to take out the risk of injury aside from COVID.
Yep. I'm with you.
I don't know. It's something.
You're going to see so many players opt out, especially upperclassmen that are going to get prepared for the draft.
Absolutely.
So it's not ideal.
Oh, and you're speaking of the NFL draft. I mean, you're looking at the draft, assuming no college football happens at all. My gosh, I feel bad for those NFL scouts because this is going to be the toughest NFL draft in history because you have to go clearly on tape.
From 2 years ago.
2 years ago, and then the combine workouts.
Yep.
Assuming that all happens. Which I think it will.
Yep.
The combine. But because I think the NFL's going to happen. I hope to God it happens.
Oh, NFL's going to happen. Easy.
I mean, we're getting close. We're 23 days away, I think, from the season opener between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Houston Texans on a Thursday night, which the Chiefs came out today and said they're going to have 22% capacity, which equals 16,000 fans. That's a lot more than I thought anybody would get in their stadium in the NFL season. So to do that in September, we'll see if that grows or goes down. But the NFL is leaving it up to every single city for their own attendance policies.
Seems dumb.
Well, you knew if they allowed Kansas City to make their own attendance policy, they were going to have some fans for that.
It's Missouri for one.
For that first game because they won their first Super Bowl in franchise history. So they're going to try everything they can to get a few fans in there to see that, all the celebrations and everything. But according to our good friend Cameron Screeton, they're going to allow tailgating too. That surprised me. But
yeah, nothing like
we'll see.
Grilling stuff, drinking beer, and talking real close to somebody. That'll go great.
Man, it's yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I mean, college campuses are about to have all their students come back, and yeah, I don't know how any of this is going to go.
It's not going to go well. I mean, our buddy said that the rumor was anyway that at a what did he say? Rival community college, small college. That they tested every single one of their athletes, 400. They had 90 positives. That's a lot.
That's about the most I've heard of.
That's almost 25%.
Yeah.
Positivity rate. So not great.
Nope.
Moving on to baseball. I don't want to talk too much about this because the Cubs are about to lose their fourth in a row. But
struggles, man.
It's the thing, man. I mean, they're not as good as 13-3, but they're not as bad as 0-4. You know, and people just freak out. It is the absolute worst.
Well, it's also because people haven't had sports to freak out about in so long.
And every single game is so magnified in a short season like this. It just feels so much worse than it is. I mean, Cubs, if they lose with what the score will be, of these 4 games, they will have lost by a combined 5 runs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that crap happens. But anyway, moving on to baseball. The Reds had a player test positive. And had their final 2 games against the Pirates wiped out. Haven't heard a word about it since. Of course, I have muted that word on Twitter.
What?
The Reds.
Oh my gosh.
So I don't know what's happening. The Oakland Athletics are en fuego right now. Best record in the sport, tied for the best record in the sport. At 16-6, scored 5 runs in the 9th inning. On Friday night with Steven Piscotty hitting a grand slam to tie it, and then ended up winning in extras. On Saturday night, they scored 4 runs in the 9th, capped off by a Mark Canha 3-run bomb with 2 outs to win 7-6. On Sunday, they were tied 2-2 in the 5th and went on to put up a 9 spot in the 5th inning and win 15-3. So they are on fire right now. The New York Yankees are also en fuego, sitting at 15-6.
Well, it helps that they played the crappy Red Sox pretty much all week long.
I was just about to say they're already 6-0 against the Red Sox, who are 6-16. I think they're
terrible.
Done. They have had some bad injury news with Stanton and Judge being put on the injured list.
That's not. Is that really a surprise though?
No, those guys have a real hard time.
I mean, especially when it comes to Stanton.
But Clint Frazier's come up from the taxi squad, and he has 2 homers and 8 RBIs in 4 games. DJ LeMahieu's hitting over 400 so far. Garrett Cole's been awesome. Bullpen's been awesome, led by Zach Britt and Chad Green and Adam Ottavino. Mookie Betts, the Los Angeles Dodgers, hit 3 homers in a game against the Padres on Thursday night. He'd already tied the all-time record for 3 homer games in a career with 6. Can you name the 2 other guys to do this?
To hit what? I'm sorry.
To have 6 3-homer games in a career. He's already tied the Major League record. 2 other guys have done it. 1 guy played in our lifetime. 1 guy's a long, long time ago.
6 3-homer games in a career? Albert Pujols?
No. Johnny Mize was the one you wouldn't get. The other guy will maybe upset you.
Reggie Jackson.
Slamming Sammy Sosa.
Oh,
Said this guy played in our lifetime.
Mookie
Betts
looking up other things.
Has swung at 101 pitches in the strike zone this season. He's only missed once. That's insane. That's just a ridiculous strikeout or contact rate. The Baltimore Orioles at 12-9 and the Miami Marlins at 9-6 are both playing surprisingly good baseball and have a legitimate shot at a playoff berth. Baltimore's postseason odds are 57%. Marlins are 34%.
Told you they were going to meet in the World Series.
Cardinals pitcher Roel Ramirez gave up 4 home runs in a row yesterday to the White Sox in his Major League debut.
Yeah, that was just one after another after another after another.
Moving on to the Chicago Cubs.
You missed another crazy stat.
What was it?
The Cleveland Indians yesterday beat the Detroit Tigers for their 20th straight time.
Oh, 20. I saw that on the tweeter. And
wow,
that's
a lot of consecutive wins over an opponent.
Tigers have been real bad here lately. The Indians, with those two guys, Zach Plesac and Mike Clevenger, testing, or they didn't even test positive. They just went out, broke protocol. They sent them down to their taxi, or I don't know.
They better learn their lesson.
Remote, yeah. Oliver Perez, who's been around.
Is it that hard to follow the rules for a little bit?
Oliver Perez has said, I will opt out. He's one of their better lefty relievers. I will opt out of the season if they are not sent down. So who knows if they'll bring him. I'm sure they'll bring him back up. Those two are the best starters, man. I don't get it. But the Cubs went 3-3 this past week, just as I predicted. I said they'd go 3-3.
Yes, you did.
They did. It was kind of crappy the way it happened, though. So they started out 3-0 and then left a sour taste in the mouth the rest of the week. Offense has become frustrating. They have scored the most runs in baseball in the sixth inning or later this season, and had struggled in the first few innings to start this past week, so it kind of matched up. But this past weekend, they started off real hot, getting up 3 runs early on Saturday and Sunday, but completely disappeared the rest of the game. Have to give credit to Brewers pitchers Adrian Hauser and Josh Lindblom out of
Purdue.
He pitched in the KBO, I believe, or maybe Japan. I think it was the KBO.
Yes,
the Brewers signed
he was like an MVP.
He was pretty good.
Over there.
Starting pitching continues to be fantastic. Alec Mills and John Lester threw one really bad mistake in their games on Friday and Sunday, both giving up a 3-run homer. Kyle Hendricks has been sensational. He was pitching really well today into the seventh inning of this really stupid 7-inning doubleheader, but he ended up giving up 2 runs.
Unleash your frustrations, J-Man.
In the seventh. I guess we're not on TV, so I can really say whatever I want. But Yu Darvish has cemented himself, believe it or not, as an early Cy Young candidate.
Still poo to me.
41st time he struck out 10 or more times, or 10 or more people in a game in his career.
He could go on to break all of like Nolan Ryan's records. I call him poo.
Is the top guy in Major League Baseball history in strikeouts per 9 innings. Did you know that?
Nope.
He's been awesome. He's really turned it on, too, since the second half of last year. Tyler Chatwood was just put on the injured list with lower back tightness, so they called up Tyson Miller to make his Major League debut against the Cardinals tonight or on Monday. A lot of people probably won't listen to this tonight, but on Monday, so I'm predicting it goes poorly. So hopefully we can look back and laugh at me, and I was wrong.
I like looking back and laughing at stuff.
Yeah, I say a lot of stuff that Tanner likes to laugh at. Bullpen's been slightly better, but still pretty rough around the edges. Craig Kimbrell has thrown 2 consecutive scoreless innings where he saw his velocity up and command was better. I really think he's been tipping pitches, and on Friday and Saturday night, he was repeating his delivery much better. Wasn't having his front shoulder fly open. The no-good, stupid, idiot Cardinals, because of their extreme selfishness, now are coming to Chicago, and the Cubs will have to play them 5 freaking times in 3 days. 4 of those games will be 7 innings. Cubs are being punished because of that horrendously terrible franchise filled with the most unlikable players and humans on the face of the earth who are watched by the worst fan base in the history of the world decided to go to a casino. That's my thoughts on the Cardinals. But Cubs are in a slump right now. They have to bounce back and find a way to win at least 2 of these 5 just to kind of... Because Cardinals could be 2.5 games up on the Cubs after missing 18 games. I hate this. See, that's the thing about this season. I said before, we can't get too high or too low. It's just a weird season. Nobody can, really evaluate anything. And the season happens and people just freak out. Calm yourselves. I keep looking at the camera.
Hey, you got good camera awareness. It took you 196 episodes, but we're there.
Muscle memory. That's all I got, man. I don't want to talk baseball the rest of the night. Hope you're okay with that.
I really don't care. I did want to mention, I forgot to mention this when we were talking about the polls. I asked the same question on Facebook, and we got 5 comments from people, all saying yes, they would watch spring football.
Yeah.
A few of them, these people. I can't pronounce her name.
How can you not pronounce her name?
Not that name.
Just pronounce it.
Donahue?
It's Amanda Combs.
Yeah.
She's my aunt.
Yes, I knew that.
Donahue's her maiden name.
Donahue, okay. Yeah, after I kind of read that. And she said, absolutely, whatever season, I'm down.
Huge Iowa fans.
Bill Wyatt was a sub at Rochester when we went there in school. He said, sure would. Jackie Baker, she works at First Federal Savings Bank with me. One of the nicest ladies you'll ever meet. She says yes. Lou Munt.
Louie
says yes. And Daryl or Darrell Triplet.
Daryl
says yes.
Have you ever seen the name Daryl spelled before?
Not really.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there hasn't been a Daryl for like Purdue football or Broncos.
Hazel. Well, I just put that guy out of my memory. Couldn't even tell you how to spell his last name if it was 1 Z or 2. I'm not good at pronouncing names.
I think it was 2 L's, wasn't it? 1 Z, 2 L's.
I don't care. The guy went 9-33. I could care less about him. He wore his hat like an idiot, and I hope he never coaches again.
You always do this to me, so I'm going to do it to you. You loved him. You wanted him so bad when you hired him.
Then I wanted Butch Jones, who was their number one choice.
You also wanted that, which that would have been just as bad.
Who was their number one choice.
Maybe not just as bad.
I don't know if Hazel was their number 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll never know. Choice. Never know.
Yeah.
Don't really care. I wanted him to keep Danny Hope, to be honest. I thought he deserved one more year, but it wouldn't have mattered. It was still would have ended the same way.
I did see Big Ten records from, I think it was since 2010. Purdue, Indiana, and Illinois were real bad.
Yeah, it doesn't help when...
I think they were all 40 games under 500.
Yeah.
I think every single one of them. I don't know if I can go back and find that. It was real bad.
Sure. I mean, Darryl won 3 Big Ten games. 3 in 4 years.
It's pretty bad.
It's awful.
How many of those were against Illinois? 2?
2 and 1 against Nebraska. Yeah. Terrible.
Yeah, I can't find it anywhere else.
Yeah. But I wanted to give people their notice there, a shout out. I don't know if I have a feeling the Instagram one already expired. But it was a resounding. Last time I checked yesterday, it was everybody said yes. Yeah,
I think. Did I vote on that one? Because I think I said yes on that one.
At that time, you hadn't. It was 15 yeses, 0 nos at that time, and I'd never checked the fun results. That's my fault. I'm a bad host.
You stink. I assume they'd all be yes, though. I can't imagine any idiot saying no except me.
Well, and I'm already, I'm trying to come to terms that college football ain't going to happen. But last night I stepped outside about 10:30 at night to let my dog out. And it felt like a fall night out last night. I'm like, this is going to be depressing in a month and in 2 months when it's going to be like this on nice weekends and there's going to be no football to watch on Saturday.
The NFL, man.
Maybe.
Definitely.
If they move their games to Saturday.
There's no way they wouldn't move their games
they'd be
to Saturday.
Stupid not to.
They'd be real stupid not to.
So there'll be no college football, I should say. No smells of tailgating. No marching bands playing in the distance.
I hate marching bands.
No, you hate fun.
You hate flyovers. You went in the bathroom because you were scared of a flyover.
No, I didn't.
100%.
No, I swear to God I did not.
2008.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. That was the bull-faced lie of the
It's not.
show.
Nope.
Yes, it is.
I don't know why I keep looking in the camera.
Yes, it is a bull-faced lie. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Really?
No.
Maybe that was somebody.
Freaking idea.
No, maybe that was somebody else.
I swear to God, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Maybe that was somebody else. Oh,
I mean, when I was little, I did like flyovers, but I never went to the bathroom to high five one.
I do like making baseless accusations. That's kind of my thing. So.
I mean, when I was like 5 at my first Purdue game, the cannon went off, and I thought they were going to kill us.
Maybe I was thinking of someone else.
You jerk.
Maybe I dreamed it.
But then that passed. And then today I'm driving up to play golf tournament from work, and this car passes me all decked out in Notre Dame stuff. And then my hatred just boiled. I said, okay, if we're going to have college football season, I'm going to root against them harder than I ever have in my life.
That's what we should do. Become diehard ACC fans this year if they have a season, which they won't.
Oh, if they have a season, I'm going to buy a T-shirt of every single opponent Notre Dame plays.
I'd even say we need to get our sponsors involved in this. And
most of them probably like Notre Dame, though.
Yeah. I was going to say they can buy us season tickets to each or tickets to each game.
Yes.
And fly us out there. and we can be in the stands.
I do know one of our sponsors doesn't like Notre Dame.
I know one's a huge one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, speaking of him, I need to get to my bucket prediction of the week here.
Yeah, I'm pulling one up for you here, and that might help you.
Who won the golf tournament on the weekend?
It was a. Who did win yesterday? It was not a household name.
Which means he wasn't in the top 15 power rankings from last week?
Don't believe so.
Sweet. J-Man, got to book it right.
Don't believe so. Man, this is taking me forever to find.
What was the tournament called? Wyndham?
Yes. It's amazing the PGA Tour takes everything down after the tournament's over.
Why can I not find it? Wyndham tournament.
Right there.
Is that who it was?
Yeah.
He won it? Jimmy Herman?
Jim Herman, over
Jim
Billy
Herman.
Horschel. Yep.
I can't imagine he's in the top 15 power rankings last week. So J-Man gets I guess I don't get anything. I just get pride.
Anyways, the FedEx Cup playoffs are starting this week. So the next 3 weeks are the playoffs for golf. You got the Northern Trust Open this week. Here's your 20 guys for your power rankings on PGAtour.com. Terrell Hatton, Patrick Cantley, Alex Noren, Hideki Matsuyama, Gary Woodland, Rory McIlroy.
This will be the J-Man's bucket prediction.
Surprise.
Of the week. Rory will win this tournament. You can book it.
He is a 2-time winner and the all-time earnings leader at TPC Boston.
Boston. He's from Ireland. A lot of Irishmen
He's
out there in
6 for
Boston.
6 in the restart of making cuts, but he only has one top 30.
J-Man's Bucket Prediction of the Week is brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Travis Watchering. For life, home, auto, renters, business, workers' comp, and farm insurance, contact Travis at 219-869-4561. His email is travis.watchering@infb.com.
At 14, you got Daniel Berger. 13, Adam Scott. 12, Siwoo Kim. 11, Billy Horschel, who was the runner-up this past weekend. 10, Xander Schauffele. 9, Patrick Reed. 8, Tony Finau. 7, John Rahm. 6, Jason Day. 5, Webb Simpson. 4, Dustin Johnson. 3, Colin Morikawa, PGA Championship winner. Number 2, Justin Thomas. Number 1, Mr. Muscle himself, Bryson DeChambeau. You also have Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Ricky Fowler, each of former winners at TBC Boston. Didn't make the list. Brooks Koepka, who just missed the cut over the weekend, not on the list. Jordan Spieth, Justin Rose, Tommy Fleetwood, other notables, not on the list. So after this week, the playoffs will cut down to the top 70 in points.
I like it.
Who am I picking to win? I will go with Xander Schauffele.
I like it.
I don't know why. He just stands out to me. So I'm picking him.
It's as good a reason as any.
Did you know one of sports' biggest events is happening this weekend?
I did, but I was trying not
The greatest
to know.
spectacle in racing in the world. Indianapolis 500. Indy 500.
Give me Andretti.
Taking the pole sitter, huh?
Is he the pole sitter?
He's the his grandfather Mario last started first in 1987. His father Michael never earned the pole. So Andretti made some history yesterday.
Cool.
He's going to be on the front row with a pair of previous Indy 500 winners, Scott Dixon,
I've heard of him.
Takuma Soto.
Never heard of him.
You got Ryan Hunter-Reay at 5th, James Hinchcliffe at 6th, Graham Rahal 7th, Alexander Rossi 9th. I'm just reading some guys I've heard of. Ed Carpenter, row 6, also with Connor Daly there. Will Power was in the 8th row with Tony Kanaan.
Heard of him.
Hilo Castroneves.
Heard of him, too.
He'll start in row 10. And J.R. Hildenbrand starting in the back row, row 11.
I've heard of more of those guys than I thought I would.
So, you were going with Marco to win his first
He's never
Indy
won
500.
one?
No, his
Really?
career's never really been as good as it should have.
Got the bloodline, though.
He was really close to winning in 06, but Sam Horns Jr. passed him on the last lap.
Wonder how long it took him to get over that one. Man.
Probably a while. He's still at it 14 years later trying to win it. Who am I going with? I want to go with a Honda car.
Honda. Shut up, Honda.
going to go with Joseph Newgarden.
I like it.
13th.
I like it.
Yep, that's what I'm going for.
It's good. It's a good pick.
Don't know much about IndyCar racing, so I'm probably going to be way off. But Joseph, you're the man this weekend.
Alrighty, you want to...
One more story we didn't hit on. How good old Alex Smith.
Oh, he's going to play. Yeah.
Making a return. Made a return to the practice field yesterday for the Washington football team after 16 surgeries on his leg.
About lost his leg. About lost his life.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Perseverance to keep pushing along.
I mean, they said his leg was pretty much shattered completely, like glass.
I am hoping he gets a chance over Dwayne Haskins.
Why?
I want to see a great comeback story.
What team still kind of needs? Is there anyone out there that
I think he'll be their backup this year.
Use a starter, though?
No.
They could trade him? I wouldn't say anyone yet.
Because isn't there... Now, Cam's on the Patriots.
I was going to say, I think I'd like the Alex Smith fit better in New England than the Cam Newton one, but...
I thought there's another decently named quarterback who's still a free agent, but I think they all signed with somebody now. I think Cam was the last one, because Jameis went to New Orleans. Yeah. Dalton went to Dallas. Wouldn't call him that big a name anyways, but...
Yeah.
Yep.
Good for him.
Yeah, I thought
that was
a
pretty
really
cool video. That
put a smile on my face yesterday, and not too many things put smiles on my face right now.
I was going to say, not too many smiles coming from
particularly this past week with the Big Ten news, because, I mean, Big Ten, like I said, is one of our three main topics we cover, along with MLB and NFL. We cover other stuff, of course, PGA Tour and NBA, which we can cover the NBA. We can do quick NBA predictions real quick.
Well, we did that in October.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, but I'm going to keep the same one.
I think the series are going to be pretty easy to predict. But anyways, like I was saying, the Big Ten, with not playing football, we're going to have to come up with other things to talk about.
We've been doing it for months, to be honest, in a real tough time to talk anything, because there was nothing forever.
And we always had hope that
found a way
that everything would come back, but
yeah. Now that the Cubs have lost 4 in a row, I wish I wouldn't have.
But I got the Celtics are winning right now, or the 76ers, but I think they'll win that series.
That'll be a pretty good one.
I think the Raptors will beat the Nets. I think the Nuggets will beat the Jazz. Mm-hmm. I do think the Mavericks will upset the Clippers in that series.
Is that a 6-3 or 5-4 or 7-2?
Couldn't tell you. It's 5-4. I think, because 6-3 is Jazz Nuggets.
And really, those 5-4s are such toss-ups anyway.
I think the Pacers will beat the Heat.
Mavs Clippers is 7-2.
Oh.
You believe the Clippers are the 2?
I did not.
Oh, I guess they have Paul George.
So then Oklahoma City's in the 4-5 with the Rockets.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I think the Rockets will win that.
Nuggets Jazz 3-6.
I think the Lakers will beat the Blazers.
I do too.
But I think I could see that series being a fight. I think the Rockets will beat the Thunder, like I said. I think the Bucks will sweep the Magic. I think the Pacers will beat the Heat.
It's hard to disagree with you.
But originally I had Sixers-Clippers finals with the Sixers winning back in October, but I don't think that's going to happen now.
I think I had the Bucks-Clippers, maybe.
Sounds right. I think we both had the Clippers.
I think I might have had the Clippers.
I think you did.
But I think I'm going to change it to the Bucks.
Yeah.
Big Giannis fan.
Well, I just took out the number 2 Clippers out of the playoffs in my prediction.
Yeah, Dallas.
Yeah. Which I, in my head, forgot the Clippers have Kawhi and Paul George both. I was still thinking they were like the Lou Williams-led Clippers.
I was still thinking they were CP3 and Blake.
Yeah, I'm going to be boring. I'm going Lakers-Bucks finals. And the Lakers win it, because I just think...
You're going 1-1, and I'm going 1-2.
And I think... well, it's the NBA. It is boring, but I think...
Especially
I think they do it for Kobe. I think they were on pace to do it before Corona happened, and... I don't like the Lakers, but if they have to do it this year, I'd be fine with it.
I wouldn't. I still don't like them.
Well, you want the Birdie Bogey one more time?
Yes, sir.
As we wrap up a little shorter episode than usual.
Well, hopefully we'll be back at it next Monday.
Well, if not, you always got the audio. The audio will always be here for you audio listeners.
Yes, it's
the people that are watching on the IC Sports Network that are suffering this week. So, well, the Nuggets, like I said, defeated the Utah Jazz earlier today, 135-125 in overtime. Donovan Mitchell of the Utah Jazz finished with 57 points in the loss. It's the third most points in a playoff game in NBA history, trailing what two players?
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan is the top guy with 63 points in 1986 against the Celtics.
There's two guys that are in my head right now, maybe three. Man, if I sit, is it? I want a hint, but I don't want a hint because it seems like the hint would probably give it away. Is this guy in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Okay, so that narrows it down to two.
Who was the guy you weren't thinking in the Hall of Fame?
I was thinking maybe Lillard did it because it seems like he does that crap all the time. Man, there's two guys. I'm going to go with Larry Bird, but hold on. The other guy I was thinking is Dominique Wilkins.
Neither of them.
Okay, good. Who was it?
Elgin Baylor.
Wasn't that
61 and 1962, also against the Celtics.
I'll take a par.
You got a par. You can walk away with a par today.
Elgin Baylor, that's a tough one.
Yep.
I wasn't even thinking. I was thinking Larry Legend.
Now, I got to admit, this is our 196th episode. I don't know how many episodes I've given you the Birdie Bogey question because it used to be every episode until we started switching back and forth. That was the latest I think I ever went in my preparation. I think I got this literally like 30 minutes before the show started.
It works, man.
But good one.
I have like a few saved on my phone just in case I forget.
I mean, usually if I'm scrambling bad enough, I can get my dad's help, but couldn't do that tonight. So
I usually just search Twitter for stuff.
Yep.
Thanks for listening to the Tan and J-Man Show. We'll be back at it live on the ISC Sports
Hopefully,
Network.
if the internet works.
Week, hopefully. Have a great rest of the week, everybody. We'll see you later.